All right. Welcome back to Coulworld Pod after a little gap. Was it 2 weeks since we last did one?
Yeah, I think it's classified as a hiatus.
Yeah, I think technically in the in the dictionary. But yeah, here we are. It's been a couple weeks off. What happened last week? We just had a big weekend last weekend. I think that's what it was.
Trying to think.
We made a decision that we were only going to do them in the day.
Yeah.
Because the natural light, because my camera sucks ass in artificial light.
Yes.
One of the many benefits. And
I think I had footy, and then did I have something on last Saturday?
Yeah, we went out. I went out both nights.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah. No.
Yeah, so it was just an absolute write-off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
busy weekend.
What do you think of the last pod? It was lessons from your 20s.
Liked it. How do we go? What was the audience response?
We're up to 98 subscribers. I don't remember what we were last week.
Let's get to that ton.
Yeah, ton us up.
Yeah.
If you're watching this. 152 views. So even though it was less than the previous two, it's still pretty healthy. The first one's up to 299 views. So thank you for everyone who's gotten around it.
Nice.
It is. I'd say that's going very, very well. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I remember watching it back and going, "Fuck, I'm just sick of talking about myself."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you think we got a bit heavy, too heavy in like the first two pods?
I don't know. I was talking about this to one of my other mates because I have more than one friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right, cool.
No, but and I was telling him, I was like, the first three have been like real deep, and I feel like you almost need to do that because you need to open up so that the audience sort of like feels like they know you. Because and I sort of reference it back to Joe Rogan. Like if I met Joe Rogan in the street, like I would feel like I know him personally.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen him talk about so many different topics. I know his stance on so many different like issues that and I've watched him enough that now I feel like I have this connection with him.
Yeah.
Even though he has no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I do. So I feel like you need to sort of do that, and to do that you have to be vulnerable, you have to open yourself up and let people hear about your life and your stance on things, I guess.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying like we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like I'm just sick of watching myself talk about my life. I was just like, geez, but maybe it was good we had a little break. But it's funny that you say that because like I totally relate. Like with for instance, True Geordie, I feel like I know everything about, and he's got something cool coming out today, something about his life called The Rebuild. But he does he did like an hour video about how his life fell to shit. And yeah, like you said, I feel like I know him inside and out. No homo. But there's
especially with his last controversy.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a lot to get off his chest, that's for sure.
That whole situation was an interesting one because like I feel like his initial bounce back was like really strong. Like he come out and he was like, I don't care, like whatever, I don't care. And then it took him like maybe a few months, and then from what I've because I've seen a few things of his as well, and it seems like it was really hard for him maybe 6 months after the fact. But the first 6 months after the initial come out of the DMs and whatever it was, he seemed like really positive and strong, and then it took him a while, and then it sort of I think it just broke away at his spirit slowly. Yeah. And then he probably just hit a low point and then working all back now.
For those who don't know, we should give a little bit of context on this. So True Geordie is a YouTuber and
a UK
YouTuber podcaster, great man. I'm a big fan. Yeah. But anyway, so he had some leaked DMs and it was really raunchy leaked DMs, not just him sleazing on some girls. It was please take a dump on my chest and stuff like that. And
was there pegging involved?
Yeah,
he wanted to get.
That was
pegged.
the least offensive part of it.
Yeah, it was it
was the least controversial part of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was funny because like you said, he took it well. So he got Stephen Tries, a YouTuber comedian, to come on and roast him in the very next video he did. And then he copped it really well, so to speak. And then there's so many endless jokes to this. And like you said, he put up a good front with it. But I think in the background, what was happening is he had just had a brand deal go through, a major one, where he thought his life was going really well, and then the rug was kind of swept up from under him. I'm pretty sure that happened before. And then he just realized he had a massive tax bill because he wasn't doing his accounts properly. So he was in debt. And then that happened. And then the hate from people online made him almost suicidal. So yeah, no, he's having another. I think The Rebuild, which comes out today, just to plug him, is wrong choice of words. Just to plug his channel, is coming out today. And but yeah, no, I think the point I was trying to make was with True Footy. Not that I'm anywhere near that level, obviously nowhere near a celebrity. It's cringy that I even mentioned that right now. But I'm starting to notice people in the comments who know and remember things about me and Bush. And that one thing I wanted to do this year was get more of our personality out on the channel. Whether it's actually helped the channel or not, probably not. The channel is actually struggling. But I've enjoyed the content more. But I'm also seeing the other side of where people like remember things about me and know about my life. And I'm like, it's kind of strange. It's kind of a strange dynamic. Like, I think True Geordie's talked about it in the past when you meet someone on the street, it's a weird dynamic where they know all about you.
And you know nothing about them.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people, when I've met people out who recognise me, they say, oh, hey man, how you going? And I was like, yeah, good. Like, where do I know you from? And he's like, yeah, love your work. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, with True Footy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. But as though I would just assume I'd know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm definitely not at the level where I would just assume everyone, obviously not people.
How often has that happened to you so far?
Once every couple of months, probably on average. It happened again the other day at work. It's nice. Mostly, it's not like anyone's like thinks of me like they're starstruck, obviously, or anything like that. But they're always pretty nice about it, and they're like, oh yeah, enjoy what you do, which makes me feel good. But then there is still like an initial moment where I'm like almost embarrassed that they watched it.
Oh really?
Just like, oh jeez,
Yeah.
what a loser! This guy must have no life.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I had a point and I literally just forgot it.
Sorry, yeah, we waffled so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Where were we? We were talking about being vulnerable on the pod, I
Yeah,
think.
the last pod, how'd you find lessons from your 20s?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, like I said, I just got sick of hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty reasonable content. Like, at the end of the day, we're not like, what's the word, experts, but we're just trying to shed some light for other people our age who are trying to navigate through their 20s, I guess.
Yeah.
As well.
I think it was a good podcast and it was a good topic. Like, it was fun to think about and fun to talk about, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean in the sense that like I'm kind of sick of just like, I don't want to be one dimensional. Like, you come on here and like we just seem like these like young, trying to be inspirational and like just for someone to watch it and be like, oh my god, can these blokes like talk about anything else?
True.
Like, I want it to be like lighthearted because we're not we're not like that 24/7. We're
Yeah.
very lighthearted people as well. So
Yeah.
trying to like bring that into the equation is tricky. But
True.
I think that's what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah, it's a balance because you got to have a punchy sort of start, right? Like, you got to, when you start a pod, I guess people want to get like the value that you bring, but also like we couldn't just have started the first one and just be like, what TV shows do you like? You know what I mean? Like, it's a balance.
Yeah.
So we're trying to filter it out. Yeah, and I like the idea of it being one of those pods where it's just like us chatting shit, and then every now and then there's something decent.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe.
It's gonna be more like, not one dimensional. It's gonna be dynamic.
Yeah.
You got to have a bit of everything.
Well, you want to have guests on, don't you?
I do want to have guests on. Yeah. Got a few of our mates lined up.
Yeah.
And a lot of them seem keen. So
Yeah,
working towards that.
that would be good.
But then you like you mentioned it before as well. You don't want to like, I don't know, like bust out the big guns too early. Like, you want to make sure you at least got the audience before you start like dropping your bangers that you got in the arsenal.
Yeah.
But then there's also a balancing of like, well, maybe if we do drop these bangers, it might make things take off.
True. It is a balance. I've found that with True Footy. I feel like I've done like at least 2 or 3 projects that are like were on my list, like in terms of like almost like a bucket list for YouTube. I've already done them, and my channel's still pretty small. So I'm like, what now?
Are you lacking motivation now then?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking the other day, I was like, I'm almost at the point where I've kind of done everything I want to do content wise. Like,
It's kind of like sleeping with a girl like before you
marry her.
Not even just that, like say like you meet and on the first night you sleep together, and then that almost like
you get the milk for free.
Disdains the rest of like the relationship kind of thing, because there wasn't that thing that you work up towards, and then like it happens, and then it's this big thing. It's like you ticked it off the list too early.
True. Yeah, that's an interesting analogy. That kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've done like a full blown Adam Simpson documentary that took weeks to make. Like, I wonder if I should have just held off.
He's another Northampton boy.
Adam Simpson.
The Eagles coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's North. Oh,
He's Victorian.
is he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I went
Are you
to
thinking of Josh Simpson?
No. So I went to school with his nephew, and they're all farmers in Northampton.
You're joking.
Yeah, Simpsons. Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm sure he's lived in Victoria.
Maybe, yeah. I'm actually not sure if I just know his family who are in Northampton.
That's interesting. I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
and they're all farmers. And I mean, farmers in those areas are generational things like that.
Yeah,
That's like
true.
6 generations.
True.
So
Maybe
I just sort of like I connected the dots and assumed that he would have been a part of that.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe he moved away young. Maybe his parents moved away. But
yeah,
I know. Yeah. So his nephew is like a year younger than me.
Oh wow.
Played a heap of footy with him, and he's Northampton.
Interesting. Did not know that. You would have thought that'd come up in the documentary.
Yeah,
No, it was strictly about his Eagles career. But,
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, feeling a little flat with it, I guess. Like we did just get a Manscaped promotion, as you know. You've been
Yeah. So
involved in that.
when's that ending?
August. Oh, the end of August. So what's that? Like 2 days, 3 days.
How much detail can you go in about the?
Oh, I've said that we needed 8 discount code
And do you know
users.
what you're at now?
I think it was at least 5, but I have no idea whether it's more than that.
I might jump on and buy one just to.
Oh, you don't have to. It's all good. But you all have to. True Footy 20, all caps, all one word. No, but it is a pretty good deal. And I know a lot of people that actually do have the products already. Like the amount of people I said, have said to me like, oh, I wish you told me that you had a code like 2 weeks ago. I just bought one. So, yeah.
Is that people that we know, or is it like people from the channel?
Both.
Okay.
But people I know as well have got the product as well.
Has that sparked a bit of creative motivation in you, like doing the ads and all that kind of stuff? Because you seem to have fun with the ads.
The ads are fun, but then they're also a little bit tired now. We just did our 3rd and 4th one, and it was like, there's only so many ways to skin a cat. Like,
how many jokes can I make about testicles?
How many nut jokes can I make?
I mean, I feel like you've spent years making nut jokes, so I'm sure you can sort of conjure up something. But
this is like the perfect sponsor.
Yeah.
So
any more like genital products? I think True Footy is definitely your guys. Just
yeah, anything ball themed.
Yeah,
that's very true. But yeah, we're gonna lead on a potential second sponsor as well going at the moment. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, that sort of stuff would motivate me. But at the moment, I'm almost gagging for the end of the season just so I can do.
Did you have to say it like that?
I'm frothing at the gash for the end of the season. Yeah, gagging is not an actual sexual thing.
the motion.
Oh,
of it,
okay. I thought you end of season. Yeah. No, but there is part of me that is looking forward to it. I'm just hoping at the moment, I'm kind of going through the motions, hoping that by the time the real stuff comes, like finals, we'll get back into our live streams and stuff like that, then I'll care again. But at the moment, I'm just like,
I'll care again.
Yeah.
Don't care at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just so many changes happen in my life that I'm just like, True Footy's taking a back seat, which is weird because I never thought it would. But
yeah, it was your baby in the early days.
Yeah.
Early years.
Yeah, it's been nearly 3 years now. It's pretty wild. Yeah. I'm just so disciplined with it that I can't take time off though.
Yeah.
Like the other day I was like, I would literally rather just lie in bed and fart and watch Suits, which I do anyway, than make a video, and I still got up and did one. For like no reason. It's just like, it's just ingrained in me as well. So I'm going to try and push through.
That's good.
I would hate to get to the end of the season, find my motivation and be like, fuck, I should have been making videos throughout the peak period, because there's obviously the peak period. And then get to like October and be like, or November this year with the off season being later, and be like, I wish I'd done all that stuff.
Yeah. What do you do in the off seasons? Do you get to chill out, or you still try and pump out regular videos?
Yeah, I did. I think I took like 2 weeks off over Christmas. That's it.
Yeah.
And then, but up until that, you got the draft in late November.
True.
So there is a little bit of interest still online. After that, it really goes off a cliff. I think we talked about cricket content, which I might do again, just to try and get the numbers up. But then last year as well, I did like heaps of interviews over Skype with other YouTubers, which were really, really good fun. And I think that was some of my best content, but because the views just weren't there, it didn't really get the reward for it. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. But,
And I feel like sometimes those videos, if they're bangers and like maybe they're put out and like the timeline of when they're put out is a bit weird, I think it will come full circle. Like I think as people find your channel, that's the videos that they'll float across and be like, oh, this is a sick video.
Yeah.
So I think over time it definitely will perform as well as it should. It might just be initially, it might not do as well. It might take a few years.
Yeah. Hope so. I mean, I hope it will come back. That's for sure. But I don't know. I still want to do the YouTube thing. Like I'm still into this, even though we've only done 4 pods. It's cool. I've talked about it in the past, having like a portfolio of multiple things, and not just being the footy guy. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, speaking of sport, NBA's on. You're a big NBA man, aren't you?
Definitely, yeah. So it is 10.5 minutes in the third. Lakers are up by 4, 74-70.
Is that the Trailblazers?
It is Portland Trailblazers.
I know things.
Big NBA man. I grew up in like a predominantly basketball family. So like my mum's dad started the Gelton SBL team, and he was the coach. He coached their first ever championship in the year 2000.
Really?
Yeah. So like all my mum's side are all like state basketballs and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then my dad's the footy one.
Interesting.
So I grew up in a lot of basketball. Like when I watched so much basketball as a kid and was always at the basketball stadium.
Is it your favourite sport?
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Like since I've gotten older, sport has really sort of taken a back seat.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
That makes sense. Even for me, despite just dedicating a YouTube channel to it as well.
Yeah.
You just have less time.
I think it just like your career ambitions take over.
True.
And the only time that sport was like my number one thing was when I was ambitious to make a career out of it. And then once like I accepted that the career wasn't going to be in sport, then my love and like focus just really just switched up. Yeah. So I don't know. I like watching NBA because like I just think these guys are incredible. Like they're like the best. I think they're the best athletes in all sports. I think if you could grab any player and put them in different sports, I think you would like. For example, if you were like an AFL guy, AFL coach, and you had like this like a genie granted wish, is this so ridiculous, but a genie granted wish and said like you can go pick any athlete you want, they will be reborn in your country and they can learn your sport. I think every coach will come to like the NBA and grab like these 7 foot like athletic coordinated guys and like imagine like LeBron James playing football, playing AFL.
How tall is he?
6'10".
Okay, so he's a ruckman naturally.
And like look at him run and like he's like they're just so coordinated and so athletic. Like the athleticism in them is amazing.
Yeah, usually like only shorter guys are really good at controlling the ball. Like even with a good example is Caleb Daniel. Like he plays and he controls the ball like Gary Ablett Jr. But the reason he can do that is because he's so much shorter. Like I remember I was actually got a lot worse at sport when I had my growth spurt. So when I was 13, 14, I was actually quite good at soccer and not super good at footy, but definitely all right. And then as soon as I got taller, I felt myself get more unco. And it's weird that these guys are like 7 foot and just have the coordination of of like a 6 foot dude.
Yeah. I mean, basketball's a world sport and there's 600 guys in the league. So out of everyone in the world that plays basketball, these are the top 600 players.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then out of that, like, I mean, you wouldn't even know half of them. So I reckon you'd only know 300.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and they get paid that like reflective of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so much harder to get into that league. But yeah, I just think like they're the best athletes in the world, and it's just entertaining to watch. It's good viewing.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you why you prefer watching NBA over AFL, but that would be it, hey? Because you're looking at like some of the real elite athletes. Because you don't even support a team, do you? You support like the actual players,
just the league, yeah.
And the league,
and it is more. It's more individual based basketball. Like one player can make or break a team. Like LeBron James, like when he left like Cleveland the first time, or Miami the second time, or even Cleveland the second time, his teams went from like the top 2-3 teams in the competition to then tanking, being absolute bottom. Yeah. Like I don't think there's any player, like if Dustin Martin left Richmond, are Richmond going to win the wooden spoon next year? No. Like no way. Yeah. And I don't think there's any player in any AFL, like in any era, I don't think there's any player that would have that impact on a team.
The biggest example is when Cousins and Judd left and the Eagles just fell out. But I think there was still so many other factors in that. It's not like just because they left. But
that is a big loss though. Yeah, those two players.
True.
That's probably pretty equivalent to losing a LeBron James, losing Cousins and Judd at the same time.
Yeah, and then I think there were a lot of injuries the following year. I think Kerr barely played, and like that's your three best players in the league, like almost.
I mean, that's your midfield.
Yeah,
and Eagles.
And it was a midfield heavy team.
Yeah, through that like 06, 07, that was the Eagles were like the midfield powerhouse. Yeah, I mean they did have like they were strong everywhere else, but I mean
the midfield was
midfield was like the gold standard.
Yeah, I do agree with your point though, because like it happens all the time in the AFL. A team has big outs, and you shouldn't tip against them because of that. Like the amount of Fremantle games that they've won when Fife has been out is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Fife will go out and then all the young kids will step up. It really is like a team game.
And I was going to say that sometimes it happens like that. Like sometimes losing like your big player and then all the pressure being taken off is enough to ignite players and ignite the team as a whole, and then they all come together.
Yeah, Adelaide got better after Dangerfield left. Can you imagine that 2017 team that lost the grand final against Richmond? They got pumped, but were still the best team that year. You add Dangerfield, who's like a top 3 player minimum in the comp. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Yeah, I'm a Geelong man, but I'm not the biggest Patrick Dangerfield fan.
Yeah, see, I am.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate he's good, but I think there's a difference between being a good player and then like bringing a championship quality to a team. And I feel like he will be a player that goes down in history as being one of the best that never won a premiership.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think that says a lot about the player as well.
Oh, so you're saying the fact that he hasn't won a flag works against him?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon they could win the flag this year.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I mean, he's gotten as close to a grand final as he can get, like over and over. Like they've made so many prelims and stuff like that. I don't know, but it is a good team as well. That's the thing. I don't know. I thought last year he was the best player, and he came second in the Brownlow by 1 vote to Fife. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention to Fife, but I just think Dangerfield can lift his team probably more.
I think Fife's game just changed so much. Like it's so inside dominated now. Like I reckon Fife's best footy was like 2013 when he was a lot lighter. Like he was taking huge pack marks. Like he was running, he was jumping. Now it's and I mean I guess it goes with like what the Dockers need, and the Dockers do need like someone to go in and win the pill. Now that they don't have Lockie Neal, now that they don't have like all those kind of guys around.
He is playing forward at the moment though, Fife. They've moved him forward because I think Brayshaw and Chera and Sarong have stepped up,
which is cool.
Yeah, so I think he's going to go back to that sort of role.
Yeah, I think he should. Like they should just like their game plan should be float up, try and like get as many guys behind the ball to then flood it flat. Not flood. I'm not saying flood it like defensively, but run from the back and then just somehow like tell guys that like because obviously I know you need to start with like your. Do you need to have 6 guys in the 50 when the ball goes up?
Yeah.
So obviously you got to start with your positions like that. But then I really feel like if you just gave 5 to 50, and like just said we're gonna start from the back and we're gonna run it through. We're gonna run it through with numbers. We're gonna link with handballs. Like practice all that 3-man weave stuff. Practice like drawing players and dishing and create that. And then just like Fife is there. His player's on like this side of him. He's on this side. Like right, we're sort of kick it over here and just let Fife just run and jump.
Yeah.
And just like let him do that kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be so cool to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
This is somehow turned into True Footy 2.0.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that phrase. I was going to say, welcome back to True Footy 2.0. Yeah, that is interesting. Well, you've got more of a tactical sort of insight because you've played on a team as well. So you even though you don't watch the game that much, you have more of a.
I know the sport. I know the game. I don't know the league as well anymore.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you like who's the best players in which team or whatnot. But I still like. I spent so long playing, and when you get to a certain level, there's just so much like education that goes with it. Like, I mean,
has it ruined the way you watch football? Or not ruined, but it would have changed it.
Oh yeah.
But do you find watching footy less fun?
Oh yeah. And it's because ever since I was like 19, every game that I played, we had to re-watch and watch film and like watch the team we're playing next week, and then like you used to have to go back and like watch. It's not your highlights, but like watch your disposals, and that they would like clip it up, and they would like each player would have their own clip.
Yeah, I've heard
and
about that.
you have to go through and watch your clip and like watch what you've done, and you sit down with a coach and they'll say like, right, well that was good. I like he did that. I like he did this, and then like you might watch something where like you've turned it over, and they'll pause it and be like,
you're a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, like you should have gone there, you should have done this, you should have done that. So like it just like took so much of the like creative flair out of it.
Yeah, okay.
Which is like sort of like what I like. Like when I was growing up, that was my thing. Like I was creative in the sense that I would get it and I would always run, take bounces and kick long. And then like when you're at East Fremantle, like that, I think they just see that as like too much of a risk.
Really?
I'd rather you hit like the short 45 and play like smart footy instead of being like the fun creative player that likes to run and bounce, break tackles, kick long kicks, like all that kind of good stuff.
Interesting. It kind of goes in line with, I think, what is a league trend at the moment as well, conservative ball movement. I think unless you're Richmond are more of a hack it forward and then flood and pressure kind of team. But like, I think Geelong are supposedly one of the slowest ball movement teams in the comp, and they're like one of the best teams too.
It kind of started with Hawthorn. Like Hawthorn were just so good at that. Like when they had like Sam Mitchell, like all those guys are just like Luke Hodge, like gun kicks, and they were just always like, it was just a mark. A kick mark, and they'll just like hit those short 45s, which is like if you ask any like AFL guy, ask any like Waffle guy, and you say like, if you had the ball, what's the first thing you're looking for? They'll all say you got to hit the 45 first.
Yeah,
that's just common, and that was just because of the way that Hawthorn sort of just like revolutionised it. Like that's all they used to do. They would just hit those short 45s and just work it up, and then once there was like a huge overlap, like they just had guys like Buddy Franklin who you literally just put it out in front of him and just see what happens.
Yeah,
and like nine times out of 10 he'll do something
true. And then you had Roughhead as well.
Yeah.
The since that Hawthorn team, they kind of made it. It's been a trend that like if you can't kick, you don't get drafted.
Thank God too, because I was in a rough draft year. I was in the draft year where that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's right. You said it was more about being a big athlete.
Yeah, they wanted big athletic guys. They like there was so many guys that should have got picked up in my draft year that didn't.
Yeah,
that were like gun players and like so good with the ball and so good at kicks, but they wanted the 6'3" guy that like was 8 kegs.
I wonder why. I'm trying to think who was the best players around there. I think that was Jobe Watson's kind of era. Josh Kennedy Jr., the Sydney one, like that trend. Even Michael Barlow was around that time. So the big 190 centimetre midfielder who people maybe thought, oh, he's 190 centimetres, that's why he's so good. It's not like overlooking the fact that he's probably just a really, really smart footballer as well. Yeah. Like your Pendlebury's as well, like 190 centimetre. Is he? Or maybe he's a bit shorter Pendlebury, but yeah, either way. I didn't want you to answer a question for me. This Anthony Davis bloke, monobrow, talk me through it. What's going on there?
The monobrow?
Yeah, why has he got a monobrow?
Well, so he was an unfortunate looking guy coming into the league.
Was he?
And then, yeah, so like he used to have terrible teeth and like money will do a lot of good things for you.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing about the NBA is because it's such a world sport, you need to market yourself in a way that makes you popular because your popularity feeds into a lot of money deals, a lot of brand deals.
Yeah, okay.
And so now he is known as like the monobrow. Like that's his brand. And he's famous for it, he's known for it. Like it's like LeBron James calling himself the king.
Interesting.
It's all marketing. It's all brand stuff.
Okay, that actually makes sense. Do you reckon he still puts away a fair bit of...
Oh, plenty.
You know?
I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think just being that famous in general, it is just a gross look.
And like, yeah, it is. But I mean, he would live in a multi-million-dollar LA house or some sort of like maybe a penthouse apartment. Like,
yeah, true.
Any female that goes and like sees what he's done for himself is going to be immediately attracted to him, regardless of like if he has a monobrow or not.
Oh, well, I'm attracted to him. I'm really not. That's why I brought that up. I'm not, guys. Yeah, right. No, that actually makes a lot of sense. The personal branding thing.
It's for brand deals and all that kind of stuff, and being famous and distinguishing yourself against the others.
Yeah. One thing I actually had written down for this potty that I wanted to ask you as well. Your interest in the NBA. One thing I've noticed that there's a huge relationship between people in Australia who love like NBA and also love like rap and hip hop and American culture and stuff like that. Do you think that's why you enjoy? Because you like that kind of music, don't you?
Yeah.
And you seem to have a preference for like American culture over like British culture. Do you think it's tied to your NBA at all?
Yeah, and talking about Glocks.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that one, mate. We'll just leave that.
There's probably no point. I do as well, and I think it stems from those two things. I think it stems from sport and music. So depending on what you're into, music-wise and sport-wise, depends on what culture you sort of follow. So I'm obviously NBA, and then I like more like hip-hop, rap style of stuff.
Oh, so one didn't cause the other? Or do you both sort of like that? Because I've just noticed like heaps of my friends that love the NBA and love like rap and hip-hop and stuff like that. Like, I think Bush likes hip-hop and stuff as well. He's like, for sure. He just loves the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they feed into each other for sure.
Yeah, gross.
I guess I do, and I would probably say that I don't even know what I started listening to first.
Yeah, okay.
But I think
because I'm not into rap and hip hop at all, and I don't watch the NBA, so just Boom.
But
Confirmation bias.
But what the point that I want to make is, I feel like it stems from like a big part of culture. A big part of culture is sport and music. I feel like that's a huge part of like cultures. And so, what I think that people that like basketball and rap were obviously more influenced by American culture. But then if you even like take music out of the equation and just say, like, if I walked up to a person and I said, like, what league or sport do you like? And they said basketball, like the NBA, I'd say, all right, you're heavily influenced by American culture. If I asked another guy, like, what do you like? And they said soccer, like EPL, you're heavily influenced by, like, Europe.
Yes, true. I think I'm a genuine mix, though, in terms of music and sport and TV.
I don't even know what music you really like. You like just a
It's
random...
hard to explain. It is hard to explain.
There's no correlation between your favourite songs. Like, they'll be the most random...
Yeah.
Like, what are you listening to the most?
Let's have a look right now. So I do like a bit of EDM, and I don't mean like the cringy EDM. EDM's so broad that you think...
Is EDM's European? Is it not?
Oh, it's just electronic dance music, so it can literally be anything.
Where's like the...
There's American EDM, but maybe Europe, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just know, like...
Well, I like house music, which is European.
German?
It's not German.
German house?
There is German house music. Disclosure, so the UK. There's a little bit of Drake in here, a tiny bit of Kanye West. But again, that's not natural
Harry
to
Styles?
me. There's like 2 Harry Styles songs in there.
There's more than that.
There is only 2. There is literally only 2. Watermelon Sugar and Adore You.
You've got his whole album.
I do not.
Like right there.
That's an absolute lie. Oh, okay, so my all-times, though, Chili Peppers.
Cool.
America? Yeah, American. I'm going to get judged for this, but Coldplay.
That's fine.
They're not my top 2, but like they're up there.
That's cool. This
is my unskippable album. Tame Impala, they're Australian.
I can't get with... I'm not a big Tame Impala fan.
Sticky Fingers, another one. I like Ed Sheeran. Daft Punk are French. Foals, UK.
I know that you really loved Get Lucky when that came out.
I did, yeah. That was more so just as nostalgia kind of one, because I'd moved to Australia from Abu Dhabi at that time, went back for a holiday there, and that song was...
Is that song that old?
2013. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the year I moved to Australia, so that's kind of why. But you're right, there is an absolute mix of different stuff.
I mean, we just talked about one before. Jesse doesn't know who Draft is. Like,
yeah, I have no idea.
Australian rapper, because I was referencing Jimmy Ricard, which is one of his probably his most favourite song, and you have no idea who he was.
No, I was like AFL or NBA.
But I think that was because he was popular. Like, do you know 360?
I do, but more so accidentally, because when I was watching the footy over there, once the 360 came on, the song came on, and it had his name in the corner, and I found the song, and I enjoyed that particular song, but I don't think I could ever go back and listen to 360.
Oh, no, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find... Oh, I love Queen. Just come up with all these, like, weird English ones. Yeah, it is. You're right, it is a mix. But I'd say my music preferences may be slightly more English than American, but TV's an interesting one, because you're American TV, aren't you?
I'm trying to think if I've
Okay,
watched
so right now you're watching Suits and you're watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh yeah, or did you watch The In-Betweeners? That's pretty classic though.
Yeah, no, I did watch that, but I didn't find that... Like, I definitely find American humour funnier than UK humour.
Yeah.
But then my dad's, like, big on the UK humour. Like, he likes The Young Ones. I don't know if you know them. It. Or Red Dwarf.
I know Red Dwarf, yeah.
So that's all, like, classic UK humour.
Yeah, I dare say that I am more American in terms of my humour, like The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec.
See, and the UK Office is trash, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it is a very different type of comedy, that's why. But yeah.
It's just like,
it isn't as good, that's for sure.
No.
But...
Even, no.
Like, there are people out there who are just kind of like... It's almost like they want to be almost indie, and they're like... Oh, the UK Office is so much funnier, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, you're lying.
It's definitely not. There's like the character. Obviously, the Office one, the American one went longer, but like the story and the character development of that, and the characters in general, were a lot better than the UK one. Even though it was the UK idea, like the Americans did it better. Let's be honest. But where the Americans fall down as compared to the UK is like serious like cop shows and stuff like that. I feel like.
See, I'm not. I'm about to say this, even though that I'm deeply into Suits right now. But I'm not really into like serious shows.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I watch it to sort of unwind and chill out. Like I don't want to like be in suspense or be like all wound up or like. That's why I don't like thrillers, or I don't really like horror. Like if I'm gonna watch something, it's generally at the end of my day, and I'm doing it just to like have a laugh, like chill out, like take all the pressure off the day, and just enjoy a couple of minutes. Or even though I probably do it for like an hour.
Yeah.
But then I'm watching Suits at the moment, which contradicts that entire statement.
Yeah. See, Suits is a show that I feel like if it was British, it would be a lot better. Just because I think they're just better at that sort of genre. The stuff. Have you ever watched Peaky Blinders?
No, I haven't.
Elite 10 out of 10 show.
Wow.
Like, that's one of the best shows I've ever seen. What else is there? They've got like Luther. I've only seen a little bit of that, but it's pretty good. I like Sherlock. I don't think it's for everyone.
What about Game of Thrones? I feel like that was a
Line of Duty. Yes, so that's an interesting one because it's it's American. It is American. Yeah. So, but all the actors.
But I've still never watched an episode of it.
Okay, doesn't seem like it'd be right up your alley, but you probably still. I reckon it's so good that you would watch it and get hooked. Yeah, because it's not about the themes of like the good part of it is not like the magic or like the world of it. It's the political battle, and once you're into that and you get used to the characters, all the magic and stuff in the background, that sort of just becomes part of the backdrop, and it's really about the battle to win. And that's the most interesting part of it.
Yeah, I think I'll watch it definitely one day. I almost enjoy the fact that I've never seen it, and like I'm part of that small minority of the world that hasn't seen it. And the more people pressure me to see it, and the more people say like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you haven't seen it," it just makes me not want to watch it more, just to rub it in their face.
True, but don't you get sick of having that conversation? Oh my god, you haven't seen it?
No, I just shut it down early.
If you'd said yes, you would have been like, oh yeah, it's good, yeah. But instead you're like, oh my god, I can't believe the conversation goes for like 60 seconds longer than it needs to.
Nah. I think I do well at shutting it down. Like if they get really hyped on it, I'll just be like, oh my god, it's a show, move on. like what, do you spend your entire time watching a show? Like, do you actually live a life? Like, just, who cares that I haven't watched this fucking content? Like, who really cares? Like, if it's that big of a deal, like, you need to assess what you do in your life, because I feel like you have too much passion going towards a show that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah, but I see, like, even that's exhausting.
But I love those debates. I love talking about that.
No, and you're a fucking idiot if you're trying to talk me into it. Yeah.
Nah, it's a sick kick that I get out of seeing people's reaction and just being part of that group. Like, never seen the episode.
Yeah. No, I do recommend it. I think it's definitely one of the
I will watch it one day. I'll get it one day. I'm just like,
Yeah.
But like I said, like I just don't have time for much TV. Like I probably have like an hour at the end of the day that I like to watch something.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I can generally tell what kind of comedy people like by just interacting with them. So like for us, when we do our silly voices, we generally do that in an American accent, and that's how I know that we like American TV. Yeah. But someone like Druzy, have you noticed he does
he's huge UK? Yeah.
Admittedly, like he's half English.
He's like, I'm some then.
Yeah.
He says shit like that. I was like, what?
Yeah, and Joycey, okay, you won't find him making the voices, but like he will get a massive kick out of the UK shows and stuff like that. Like Peep Show is probably the best UK show I've ever seen, but I don't know if you'd really like that because it's kind of like long drawn out awkward silences, like social like observations about society, that kind of humor, rather than more like
just goofiness.
Yeah, goofiness as well.
Because I really just like the goofiness. That's why I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine so much. Like Jake Peralta, like I think that's a show, like when you mentioned it before, like how they do really well at like character development. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine have done so well at like the way they've like made their characters. Like Jake Peralta is like this super goofy, but then it's to the point. It's not to the point where like he's bad at his job. Like he's an elite detective. Yeah, like he is super good at his job. But they've done it so he's not like careless, and he's not like putting away people that don't deserve it. Like he's super good at being a detective and super good for like the community of Brooklyn, but he does it in his goofy own way, which is hilarious. And then the way that Charles is just like obsessed by him and just loves him so much, I find that so funny. And then like Gina, like her spirit animal is a wolf, and like just how I don't even know how to explain her. Like she's just.
Wait, Charles is Captain Holt, right?
No.
Charles. That Charles. Sorry, Charles Boyle. No, I had to think about. Yeah, no, Captain Holt's my favourite.
Raymond.
Yeah, so funny.
Yeah.
He's not even a comedy actor.
I can feel it coursing through my veins. Coursing.
velvet thunder.
Like, he just says it.
Yeah.
But I love that when he was like, I think he was talking about like, he's saying like, what does he do? He does something and he's talking about the adrenaline and he's like, I can feel, like the most stone cold face.
This is the happiest
I
day
can
of my
feel
life.
the adrenaline coursing through my veins.
Yeah, I know.
Coursing.
The funniest thing, like the coolest thing about it is, like I said, he's not a comedy actor. Like I think he acted in serious shows before, like not CSI or 24 or something like that.
Okay.
Like not those shows, but something like that. So this is his like first foray into comedy, but he's just fucking
It's
nailing it.
still super serious in like the way that he approaches. It's funny, yeah, because he's probably brought over his old method of acting into this new style.
100%.
But so he's still saying it in the most serious way, but it's like the point that he's making it is like. So, I mean, one of the funniest ones was like how they were betting on what he would say if he tried a marshmallow. Have you seen that bit?
Yeah.
And they're all going like, "What is this? I don't care for it." And everyone's like guessing like that. And then Charles was like, "I think he'll go." and then he comes in and like it's the one bit that I've seen like not act like him. And then he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, trying these marshmallows. You want to try one?" He's like, "Marshmallow." And he like squishing it and then he tries it. And he does the exact that like and it's like the one part that it's just not him.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
I do love when he breaks out of that as well, like occasionally as well. And Bing Pot. You know that one? Yeah, that's a good one.
And they use it like so much after that initial episode. In the seasons that follow, they still use Bing Pot all the time.
I know. It's so good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's just like silly humor, but it's self-aware as well. It's not trying to be like, it's not trying to be anything it's not.
They've got a good podcast as well.
Who do?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What?
Yeah, so you know Kevin in the show? He's Raymond Holt's husband.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's good. Yep.
So he does this podcast and he gets like all like I think it's like a one season sort of thing, and I think there might be like 10 or like between 7 and 10 episodes, and they just go through like, you know, they have like a podcast with the writers. They'll have like certain characters on, and they'll just talk about the show and like the background behind it. And the ones with the writers is always like the best. It's always the most interesting one, because they'll talk about like exactly that point I made before, where like they'll like talking about when they were developing the character of Drake Peralta, and they were saying like we want him to be, because they were getting Andy Samberg to make it, and Andy Samberg is so good at this style of humor, like no one could mimic the way, like his movie Hot Rod, like who could do that movie other than Andy Samberg and be hilarious at it? Yeah, like he's so unique in that sense. So they're like, we wanted to bring in that his style and make it goofy and funny, but then we couldn't do it in a way where the viewer would be annoyed that he's a detective and that he's not serious at his job and not good at his job. Yeah. So this huge balancing act of like making sure that he's an elite detective while also still letting Andy Samberg do his funny stuff. Yeah, that's true. I've heard that Andy Samberg is actually quite, like, as you can imagine, be really serious about his job. Yeah. So apparently, like, he's really a perfectionist and like doesn't fuck around at all. But like, and then the cameras go on, he's like, do you know what I mean? I do love that. I really respect that. Have you ever gotten around Little Dicky? Occasionally after a few drinks, but wait, what are you talking about? Do you actually know who Lil Dicky is? No, I have no idea what we're talking about. So his real name is Dave. I don't know his last name, but Lil Dicky. So he's this comedian rapper. It kind of rings a bell now. He's very Andy Samberg-ish, except like just an elite rapper, and like I'll show you a clip after of his freestyle that he did on Sway in the Morning. Sway in the Morning is this like radio show in America where they get like the most elite rappers on there, and like a lot of the time like they have like different segments, like he's got like Sway's 5 Fingers of Death. It's like 5 different beats, and you get rappers on and they just have to freestyle over it, and beat will change randomly and like things like that. But Andy Samberg probably not Andy Samberg, Lil Dicky probably has the best freestyle out of the entire thing. Really? He can freestyle for as long as he wants. He's just like, the way his brain works is like a whole nother level to regular human beings. Yeah. But he's got this show out called Dave, and it's about being a white rapper, being named Lil Dicky, and like going through and like trying to break through the rap industry. But he's another like Andy Samberg type. Yeah. Okay. I like Andy Samberg. One of the things I like about his character is that when things go wrong, I know it's just a sitcom, but when everything like falls to shit, he's just like, all right, and then he's just like, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I remember taking something out of it. Like I need to try and be more like him, where
I know it's a show, but like things are going to shit around him, but he's like, he never changes. And that's something I've always tried to be like as well.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Andy Samberg. When the Lonely Island came out, I had no idea that he was actually quite as good and talented as he is. Like that was the first time we saw of him, I think. Lonely Island. Do you remember it? Like jizz in my pants.
Oh yeah. I just had sex and all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I knew him before that. Was it?
He was on SNL, but like I never watched it.
I think I think like I knew of Lonely Island, but I never like got too in depth with like who the guys were behind Lonely Island.
That's what I mean. It looks like a spoofy thing. You have no idea if the guys are actually talented.
And then I think was Hot Rod was when I was when I was like this guy.
Holy God.
Yeah, who was this guy? Like Andy Samberg, like, oh, he's hilarious. And then you find out like, oh, he's a dude off Lonely Island, and then like you connect the dots after that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's cool.
But I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine's probably been the best thing for his career, I would dare say.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so he's been on a few shows. He's actually on a good show. It's a mix of American and UK. I think it's UK mainly. Fuck, I forgot what it was called. It's got Taylor Lautner in it that replaced him. Cuckoo.
Ugh. So they replaced Andy Samberg with
It was a weird thing. So it's the principal from The In-Betweeners, Gareth Davies, I think I want to say his name. He's super good. And then Andy Samberg's like... Andy Samberg's character's not that funny in it, and then they replace him with Taylor Lautner.
That seems a bit weird.
It is weird, but you watch it, it's actually really enjoyable.
Yeah. Fair.
Well, speaking of sport, there is actually something that has come up interestingly. I know you're not a huge soccer fan, but surely this has come across your
when you're talking about the elites of any sport, you generally know who they are.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with what you're about to say.
Yeah. Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
Leaving Barcelona.
Didn't think I'd see the day.
Me neither. Well, I never thought Ronaldo would leave Real Madrid, but that's happened like, 2 years ago maybe?
I think this is probably 2 years.
Man City. Fucking Man City. That's so shit. Like, I'm a Liverpool man. Did you ever decide on a team?
Yeah, Liverpool.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's hot.
Because I just got super into Steven Gerrard, and I just loved him. I was like, just loved his like... I mean, it was his kicking essentially. I just thought it was so sick. But that was probably the team. It was just like... By the time that I started watching it, I was so influenced by them more than any other team because everyone around me liked them, and like whenever it was on, it was always them. And like they were also my team on FIFA.
Yeah,
whenever I play FIFA, I always play as them. Don't know why. I just used to play better with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's probably it. But then again, it's the same as NBA. I'm not really team orientated.
True.
I just I like following the league.
Messi to Man City is such a, it's so shit because Liverpool obviously have just won the title and with that far ahead of everyone else and were briefly holding the Champions League title as well.
Does that change everything?
It's hard to say yet. I'm not a big believer in one player, one signing changes everything because I've seen it happen so many times where a team makes big signings and get worse. Like the Eagles signed Tim Kelly in the AFL and have not gotten better.
But I got a striker in that sort of league different. Makes a way more difference than what a midfielder in the AFL
And Tim
does.
Kelly is not Lionel Messi.
No, he is not one of the greatest of all time, or if not the greatest of all time.
Yeah, probably is the greatest. So
why Man City? What's his connection with them?
I don't think there is a connection. So I think Man City are just the richest team in one of the best cities in England. So the alternative would have been London. And then you're looking at Chelsea and Arsenal, and then you compare how much Man City could pay because they're Abu Dhabi owned, I guess, is far. And the fact that they're like one of the best teams already. Like Arsenal and Chelsea have a lot of catching up to do. Arsenal's not in the Champions League. Chelsea is. So they were an outside chance. But I think it just comes down to money and then living in a city in Manchester over someone like Liverpool.
It's just so insane to think of like a guy that has been in a place like Barcelona, living in a place like Spain for so long, and what like the weather there.
Well, his entire life actually. I think he was like 17 when he joined Barca. And
so going from Spain, like because all of those sort of is that South America?
Spain, no, it's in Europe. But he is Argentinian, so they speak Spanish. So, but it's the same climate, so there's a lot of.
So going from that climate to like Manchester to that gloomy, like I know a lot of players struggle with that, and like they're like Coutinho was so keen to get back to that warmer weather again, all that kind of stuff. Like it's just hard to imagine someone like him would want to make that sort of sea change.
I think the only possible reason is it can't be money. So I think the only thing is I think he might have fallen out with Barca, and then it's a choice of like Italy, where Ronaldo is, with playing for Juve, and then who would he play for? Because he wouldn't want to play with Ronaldo, I take it. He'd want to play for a rival. But I think one of the questions over Messi is that he's only ever played in that 2-team town versus coming to England. I think there's this famous quote, and I don't remember where it came from, but it was like, yeah, Messi's really good in the La Liga, but how would he go on a drizzly night away in Stoke or something like that? And it just became like a meme. But now if Stoke like actually get promoted, there's a chance he will actually play that. Yeah. But I think that the test will be, the Premier League is considered one of the most competitive leagues in the world, probably the most. A very physical league. It's very different. Ronaldo's gone there and proven himself. And Messi, that's like the one thing he hasn't done.
How old is he though? Is he past his peak, would you say?
Possibly, but he's still playing at such an elite level still. Like I think he's like 30, 31. He's a few years younger than Ronaldo, who's like 34. So yeah, he isn't at his peak as such, but it would still be very interesting to see how he went. I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers drop right off.
Yeah.
Because playing in a far more competitive league, even for the best team, he'll probably be the best player, but I think it'll be a much closer run thing. It would be really cool to see Ronaldo come back. As much as I would hate it as well to see him at Man United, it'd be cool to see him back at his old club, and then you got Messi and Ronaldo in the Premier League, and suddenly that is like unquestionably like the best league in the world. Yeah, I don't think you could doubt it.
I think that was the only thing that was holding it back before, was like it probably was the best league in the world, but the two best players weren't playing in it.
Yeah, probably. It's certainly the most interesting, I reckon. There will be other people that disagree with that, but you look at all the other leagues, like Spain, it's Real and Barca. The French league is a joke. It's like PSG win every year. Germany have like Bayern Munich and a bit of Dortmund and probably some other like teams that compete for second. The Premier League, like it's Man City and Liverpool the best two at the moment, but that hasn't been like that for very long. And then the top four race is interesting every year. And I don't know, in terms of the competitiveness, it is the best league in the world. And then to have those two players,
be crazy.
It'd be fucking mental.
It would be crazy. Yeah.
But yeah. Other football topic. I want to know your thoughts on this. And when I say football, I mean back to True Footy. AFL Grand Final in Perth could happen. We find out Tuesday. So I think the pod will probably be up by then. But what are your thoughts on that? As maybe not as a football fan, but like as a Perthite, what do you think about having 60,000 people at Optus Stadium?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool for the city. Like it's, and especially with like the pandemic going on, it's such a boost for the economy. That would be very helpful. Like all the pubs and all that are like we're doing super well with our quarantining. I mean, we haven't quarantined in ages now. Yeah. But we're doing really well with our numbers. Like we haven't had any like our cases up through the roof, and any of the cases that are coming into WA are from people that are coming from outside. Like we haven't got any
community transmission.
Yeah, so we're doing really well in that sense. So for like all the pubs, clubs, and that kind of stuff, and bars, for them to have this event on, which is going to bring in a lot of people, which is also going to bring in so much business. Like if it is here, I guarantee that it's not just a 60,000 at Optus. Like everyone is going out to watch it. Everyone's having a night out that night. Like all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be good for businesses. But as far as like a
safety perspective,
not even that, because I think they'll do it right. Like they'll obviously, if you're going to do it, you have to come over, you have to quarantine before you can do it. So people are going to be coming over 2 weeks before the grand final's on, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know if they'll get the opportunity to. I don't, because you'll need that 2-week quarantine period. I don't think they'll let. They won't.
Well, they might have to quarantine like where they are now and then fly over.
I don't think they'll let them. Hey, I don't think fans will be able to fly over.
Really?
I think it would be 60,000 WA citizens.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cool with that. Whatever.
Yeah.
But from like a football player and like a competitor, I liked the Gold Coast.
Really?
Like a neutral ground.
Well, it would have been the Gabba. But don't forget, Brisbane are a big contender this year.
Yeah, I want it at Metricon.
Ah, okay, yeah. It's just such a small ground. And you would only get like 10,000 people in, maybe 30,000. Does it even hold 30,000? It's probably like 25,000.
Yeah, I just like it purely for like like being neutral and just letting the play Because then if Eagles are in the, I mean, again, this is like we don't know who's going to be in the grand final yet. So I think it depends on that. But I really feel like they should choose the next best option that is a neutral option.
Yeah,
I don't think you can favour a team, because then if it is in WA and the Eagles play, like they're literally getting a home game.
They are, but that does happen every year. Like Richmond, Collingwood, well, Richmond and Collingwood, the last 2 grand finals have had home games. Okay, Richmond earned it in 19, but in 17 and 18, 16, 15, 14, all of those years in a row, I think it was 5 in a row, the non-Victorian team had to play away and they'd earned the grand final. Do you know what I mean? So it happened 5 times in a row where it was unfair.
Are you talking about the grand final?
Yeah, specifically the grand final. And between 14 to 18,
It's been a Melbourne team.
It's been a Melbourne team that undeservedly hosted the grand final, and 4 out of those 5 times the Melbourne team won.
I understand that, but I don't know if I agree with like the premise of it. Like, if you asked any player and you said like any AFL guy and you said like I'll let you pick any game and I guarantee you'll play it this year. Like, what game will you pick? And they'll say grand final at the G.
Yeah,
like, that's where you dream to play. So I don't know if that, like, I understand what you're saying. Technically, it is a home game, but any player would choose that.
Yeah. But
given the option, any player would say, my dream in my career is I want to play a grand final at the G.
I agree with you, and I agree that the grand final should be at the G. But if you apply that logic to this year where the MCG is not available, the next best ground is Optus Stadium.
Yeah, okay, fair.
So
that's fair.
That's why I don't want it at the Gabba. I thought you should have it. Optus next best would be Adelaide Oval. The unfortunate thing this year, I said on True Footy podcast, was the Gabba, Adelaide Oval, and Perth are all the 3 major contenders. Each of those home ground, like each of those states has a team right in the thick of the top 4. Brisbane, West Coast and Port Adelaide, which is really unlucky for this year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. By the time this comes out, it would have been like a day before we find out anyway. So, but I hope it's at Optus. Did you see what happened in Northbridge the other day? Just going back to COVID. There was like somebody got caught at a hotel in Northbridge. I think it might have been like a pub or something. I didn't actually read the article that in depth. Basically, somebody was caught not quarantining, like they'd just come into the country or state and was out at the pub, and somebody complained, and they literally just locked down the whole like building and told everyone to go home and quarantine for 2 weeks. I think that person is tested negative, but what a fuckwit.
Yeah, like it's so stupid. And like I told you about the story that I heard on the radio of like those girls in Sydney, and they went over and like I think they flew back in from somewhere. They were meant to quarantine for their like 2 weeks, and like they told work and whatever, and like apparently they just like weren't on top of it. Like they waited a week before they got tests, and they got their test way too late. They didn't realise that your test results take like a week to get back. That weekend they went out to like 11 different spots in Sydney. Their test results finally came back and it was positive. And it's just like, you stupid bitch. Like
this is a Glock.
No, but like you had one job, and it's so simple. Like is a night out really that important to you?
Yeah.
Like, is it really important? Like, where you knew what you should have done, you knew what you were supposed to do, and you still just like disregarded it. But you basically just went around and went to the whole of Sydney and said, "Fuck you guys!" I might, your grandparents might die. Like, you might pass this on to your loved ones. Like, I don't care. Like, I hope people are gonna die. Like, it's just so stupid. I just couldn't. And like on the radio, they were slaying them as well. Like saying how stupid they were. But I mean, it's not hard. Like, if you come into the state, just quarantine. Like,
I did it. I went on holiday right as this year started. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. But and it was fun. Actually, I had a great time in quarantine. But maybe I'm one of the lucky ones.
Didn't go stir crazy?
No, I just made YouTube videos. But maybe not everyone has that. Well, everyone does have that luxury actually. So
I hope that guy gets like a serious fine or some sort.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be mad if they started saying like, right, if you don't do this, like if you want to come in, like, is he from here?
I presume so.
Assume so, yeah. Okay. I still like, even if they started saying like, look, if you don't do this, we're gonna have to put people in, like, put you in jail. Like, you're gonna get like 3 months in jail.
Yeah.
Just to like show them like this is no joke, and like the fact that WA is doing well doesn't give you the right to still not do the right things. Like the fact that we're miles ahead of like Victoria and all that kind of stuff. Still don't make a joke out of COVID. Like, still do all the right things. Like, you have no right. Like, there are people at higher risk, and it's not like us. And it's not like he's going to go out to the pub and he's going to kill someone directly there. But what he might do is he might give them COVID. They might go see their mother, and then their mother might like. And then that's like it's the chain events that can lead from you just not fucking staying at home for 2 weeks. Yeah. And it annoys me so much because it's just super inconsiderate.
And that's the risk with the grand final having 60,000 people there. It only takes one fucker to come in and do it, and then WA is fucked again. But at least the grand final of the footy season will be over, so who cares?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. It's sensitive and touchy. And maybe they just need to do like UFC are doing it really well. Have you watched much of the UFC since all this COVID stuff?
Not at all.
Well, they're having basically empty stadiums, and they're just doing it fully pay-per-view.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
And they've just upped their production on TV.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
they're doing it so well. And like maybe we just need to accept that's what it's going to be. Maybe just put it in the ground and just have no people there. So like no live audience, but then up the production, like have better camera angles and like because the AFL at the moment haven't done much more. Like it's like the quality on TV is pretty much the exact same.
I think there's huge financial issues with the AFL though. Like
but then if they did it pay-per-view,
I think a lot of people just wouldn't watch.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the position of power where they could do that. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like they're half the clubs to begin with this year are in financial issues like before COVID. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah,
but yeah, my dad has decided he's not going. Even if the Eagles get into an Optus Grand Final, he's not going. That's how against it he is. I think I would attend the game if the Eagles made a home Grand Final. For the record, I think the Eagles won't make it. I think it'll be at Optus and it'll be like Richmond and Geelong or something like that. So I think that'll be good because you'll get your neutral game. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to go, but I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, if Geelong were there, have you been to a grand final?
No,
I didn't think so. No.
Yeah, it would be cool, but going and seeing Geelong in a grand final isn't high enough on my bucket list to risk potentially affecting people around me.
Yeah,
like I'm happy and willing to like call it what it is and just call this year an anomaly and like not enjoy like the fine pleasures of life, like watching your team play a grand final. Like I'll cut that. Like I'm not going to die hating myself because I didn't get to see Geelong play in a grand final at Optus Stadium because at the end of the day I care more about the COVID topic than anything else.
Yeah, so I'm just a bad person. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, but I've got a lot of people around me. Not like, yeah, I got a lot of family members at a high risk.
Sure.
And I'm more conscious of that. And I don't really care about the fucking AFL anyway.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, it's a little bit different for you, like the Eagles for me, but we'll see.
But even if I know it's completely can't happen because of COVID, but even if there was like an NBA game, and I've never seen an NBA game in my life, but even if somehow like there was an NBA game that happened in Perth, still with COVID, I still would be hesitant to go.
Yeah.
I think there's like, I'm young enough that I can say like, I'll have plenty of options in the future to do this. Like, I'm not in any rush. Like, all this stuff doesn't really compare when we're talking about the health and safety of people.
Yeah, that's true. I think I know we can't answer this question, but the other question is just how long will this go on for? Because at some point we are going to need to get back to our normal lives. Like people say, all right, 2020 is a write-off, but what if it's next 3 years?
Well, and the thing is, I don't think it will ever go away, and I think this is like a new flu type thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like saying like, can we ever get rid of chickenpox? Like, can we get rid of influenza?
They are working on a vaccination. So once we get that, but the problem is the time between actually discovering the vaccine and having mass production to the point where you and I, who would probably be the last people vaccinated, because we're the least at risk, so we believe. Yeah. That's just such a long time frame.
Yeah.
And then international travel as well probably won't be the same for years.
Well, they reckon like 3 years before you're able to go out anywhere.
Fuck that.
Which is horrible to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible and good. It's good in the sense that like it kind of like I see it as an opportunity to save money, so that as soon as it's allowed to happen, I will try and go out somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's horrible in the fact that like it is like 3 years of not being able to.
Like we're 30 when that happens.
Yeah.
20.
That's lame. That's super lame.
Yeah. Well, anyway, not to end on that depressing topic, let's answer one more question. This is a question from the last potty. Just to change up the theme a bit. It's from our friend Tommy Vowles. He wants to know, simply, butt chug or bubbler?
And if you don't know what they are, Google them, because I'm not about to explain it.
I really wanted you to explain what the difference between a butt chug and a bubbler is.
I'm not about to explain it. But you can Google it.
I can explain it.
Urban Dictionary will tell you enough.
I don't care what people think of me. I'll explain it.
Alright, go for it.
Yeah, alright. So a butt chug is where you consume alcohol through your anus and basically fucks you up a bit more, gets you more drunk. And a bubbler is where you piss into your own mouth. So I don't know.
Well, so I think bubble is weird because I think they use the term in Australia, but in WA we definitely don't call them bubblers.
Oh, I've never heard of it until I got this question.
So a bubble is a water fountain. So like, you know the water fountains at school where you press
yeah.
and they shoot up like that?
Oh, is that what it's called?
So they're called bubblers, but in WA we don't call them bubblers, we just call them water fountains.
I thought it was something about like a champagne bottle.
No. So it's referring to the water, like the school water fountains that you would drink out of. And so that's essentially what you're trying to make with your piss. You're trying to shoot up enough that it makes that exact same arc and you can take a swig out of the bubbler.
30 seconds ago, you're like, I'm not going to associate this. You can Google it if you want.
Well, I had to make that because that was...
You could not do that.
So, Tommy Vowers asked us...
Yeah, I don't know the context of the question, whether it's what would we rather do or what would we...
I don't know. I think maybe it's what you're a fan of. I find the butt chug hilarious, only because I saw Steve-O from Jackass do it, and it was just like the funniest thing.
I think I'd probably rather piss my own now. I don't know.
I'm not saying what I'd rather do, I'm just saying what I find funnier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. Oh, neither of them are funny, to be honest. Neither of them. If I saw someone doing either of them, I'd leave.
No, it's just the novelty. It's the concept of it. It's just like
it's just a story.
Gross and funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seen when I was like 14 and I saw Steve-O do a butt chug, I found it very funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good lighthearted end to what was a 80% lighthearted potty. Yeah.
COVID aside.
Yeah. The COVID part aside. Oh, no travel for 3 years.
Yeah, that's so depressing.
Yeah. All right. Well, get around us on Instagram, guys. Coulworld pod. Get around us. Get around True Footy. Just plug it. Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.